believe. First of all, this trip has some real history in it. There's a person on here named Arrett, and if you know about Park Avenue's history, was it Silas or was it Henry? Henry Arrett, who was one of the first founders of the church, who worked tirelessly for decades before his death without pay to get this church started. And I don't know if this is his great-great-granddaughter or what she is, but here she is. Her first name is Arrett. So welcome her, and she's with her mother here. And that's part of the Arrett family from the beginning. This isn't the only beginning we have here, because we have two descendants of the Darcy family who were in this congregation and provided leadership from 1810 until the early 20th century. So raise your hands, John and Chuck Darcy, who are also from the very beginning. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, John lives on Stone Street, which is one of the original old streets of New York. I mean, he could have been a member then if he'd been around. And because I believe that was the first street paved in the city of New York.
It was.
Right. And there are probably some cobblestones under all that asphalt now.
It's still cobblestone.
Oh, is it still cobblestone? Wonderful. Very good. Some of you know the street, I can see. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I have to say that this trip is going to, you've got a few notes and maps and some pictures that I'll refer to from time to time, and because much of this trip is going to be by imagination. Almost nothing is still here of what was. That's the nature of this city. And in fact, there's some rather sad stories, as all of us know, until Penn Station was demolished, and finally they got some preservation emphasis going on in this town. But anyway, so we're going to start here, and I'll say just a word about this, because we'll end up here and we'll talk about this building a little later on. But it's interesting to note that this congregation who built this church was one of the oldest, perhaps the oldest established congregation in the city of New York. The Reformed Church built their first building in 1630. And I'll tell you the bittersweet story of why they are no more, and it's in large measure because of this building, but we'll talk about that a little later on. So we have our most recent building, but it goes back to the earliest days of New York with this house. Now we're going to go downtown and start in one of the earliest places where we